All right. Hey, Catherine, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. So we're talking about Dan and family for the class. And so I wanted you to talk to me a little bit about being Dan's sister when you guys were in preschool and your memories of preschool and Dan going to school and you going to different, because you guys weren't in the same preschool, you were at different preschools. So remind me of some things that were important to you when you were little with Dan being in school.
Well, Dan and I were always, I think, really close ever since we were little. We were always pretty close because we were really close in age. So we were kind of like best friends when we were little. And I think when I was in preschool, because we went to different schools, it was really important for me to kind of know what Daniel did throughout the day. I always wanted to make sure that he was having fun at his own school and that he was safe and that he had friends that he was playing with and things like that. So that was kind of hard because Daniel's nonverbal, so he can't tell me that himself. So I always wanted for somebody else to let me know.
Excellent. And the teachers at his school would give us communication logs, so it was more than a smiley face, right? So that we could talk about Dan's day and what he liked to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Lily's helping you, I know, so
Yeah.
a little distracting. Hey, Lils, less distraction, all right, girl? Less furniture moving. So, Catherine, some of the other things we've talked about in being a sister of a sibling with a disability is you guys have a really close relationship, but that isn't the case for the other kids that you know, right?
Yeah, for most people, I mean, I think there are a lot of siblings out there who are like Daniel and I, where they are very close and they enjoy being around each other. There are other siblings who find it very hard. I mean, it's very straining, I think, on a family sometimes when you're not too close about it. You don't discuss it very much with your own family, all about how you feel and things like that. So it can be very hard on some relationships with some siblings. And I'm just fortunate that Daniel and I were always able to have a great relationship. But I don't think, that's necessarily exclusively with children with autism. Also, I know plenty of friends who have siblings, that don't have disabilities, but they still aren't close. So I was just felt fortunate that my parents made sure that we talked all about it. We made sure to communicate all about how Daniel does have different challenges, but he's also somebody that I've always admired and somebody that I could always hang out with and have fun with and something I really care about.
Yeah. And I think we focused a lot on Dan's strengths, right? What Dan does really well.
Yeah, definitely. I think I always kind of looked up to Danny, and that he is my little brother, just because I always saw him really persevere through all of his challenges. I mean, he is nonverbal. He does have autism and epilepsy, and that makes it very hard, but he's always had a smile on his face, and he's always been very good to me and to his little sisters, too. He's always really gentle, and he's always just very good to everybody.
So you're 16 now and Dan's 15. So we've gone through multiple stages of growth and development with you and with Dan, right? So you've gone from infancy to toddler, preschool, through school age. And some of the challenges for Dan being nonverbal have been communication, obviously, is challenging. And when he gets frustrated, Dan is a pretty patient guy. But we've definitely gone through periods where we've had a lot of aggression because Dan's been frustrated. So I think when you were younger, Dan pulled your hair until your hair came out, and we've had different bouts of things where Dan's done a great job. We've worked through that, and Dan's awfully gentle and patient with all of us. But I think that you've always managed to handle that pretty well, and his teachers have done a good job at communicating with us.
I think it took a lot of, times with teachers and with my parents kind of telling me all about how sometimes, Daniel is growing, and we grow in different ways, and for Daniel that kind of upset his balance. He has to eat a lot of medicine, and sometimes he might need more to help him out with controlling everything, and he doesn't know how else to communicate that other than pulling my hair or something. So it kind of took them explaining that, and also I think that, it means me on my part. When I was little, I was a typical 5-year-old. I'd want to do my own thing and kind of walk away, and I wouldn't pay attention. And that was another thing of Daniel trying to get my attention, so it kind of took somebody teaching me that was an important thing, that I always look out for Dan, and that I always kind of try and be aware of what he's doing. And I think it was good that teachers recognized that too, because we had some teachers who were not the best at handling that, and there were other teachers who really understood that they needed to be with Daniel one-on-one and that he required certain attention. And those teachers had very good success with Dan.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Catherine.